I give Iron Man a 4.75 out of 5.
What?
What do you give it? 4.75, that's nearly a 5.
That's almost a perfect score.
I love it. What would you give it?
What did I give Captain America?
To start?
4.
Well, yeah.
I changed it to a 4, right?
Okay.
I think I like Iron Man a little bit more. I'm going to give it a 4.2.
Ooh, high scores. Hello everyone, welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
board games.
And
board gaming things.
Exactly. Today we are doing part 1 of a 2-part series, and that is building a game collection. Today's video is building a collection for $100.
Not easy.
Not easy. Second video will be for $1,000. Almost too easy.
Too easy.
So we probably should have compromised somewhere in the middle. But we wanted to just...
Like 500.
Yeah, we wanted to show you kind of like, this is what $100 can get you, in our opinion, what we believe is like a decent...
In Canadian dollars, without tax.
In Canadian dollars, no tax, no shipping. Ayo, it's a great sale.
Ideal world.
No tax, no shipping. And we use Board Game Bliss.
And if it was on sale on Board Game Bliss, that's the number.
That's the number. So you better get on
down.
it. And then the next video is going to be our $1,000 collection. So a few things to note. The first is, I don't know if you knew this, but we're actually Board Game Bliss affiliates.
We are.
So there's a link in the description where you can buy from Board Game Bliss and you'll get a little bit of money off, and then we get a small percentage of commission. We get a little bit of a kickback, which is fun. So if you're interested, that link is below. $100 collection. I don't know what your approach was. Was your approach just as many games as possible?
No.
Mine wasn't either. That was my initial approach. And I was like, you could buy this expansion for later.
Yeah.
For later. But it's really freaking hard to find games for a cheap price point that aren't card games.
Yes.
So anyways, let's get into it. I think mine ended up coming in at like $99.50 or something like that.
I got to $95.76.
There you go.
And also, I want to, like, I know people are going to be like, throw in a deck of cards. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
We get it. You can throw in a deck of cards and play 100 different card games.
Sure.
But I just didn't do it.
I didn't do it either. I did have a deck of cards on
like
initially,
literally
but I was
not
like,
the point.
not the point.
It's just for fun, people. This isn't actually happening.
Sometimes, Chancho, when you are a man,
you wear sweats.
You wear sweatpants.
Are these good?
It's just for fun. Yeah, they taste like fruit leather. I think the best way to do this is one person gives their full list, and then the second person gives their full list. And in the comments, we would like for you to decide who you think
that'll just...
has the better
list.
There's
too many biased people.
People love you, Jeff.
There's too many biased people for me to ever have a shot at any of these.
Be objective.
Even if I objectively have the better list.
Be objective, just like we are when we make top 10 videos.
Yes.
Easy does it. Would you like to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
First and foremost, I needed to pick a game that I thought... Like, you can't buy a board game that's not a card game for less than like $30.
I got one.
Okay, sure. But for the most part, like most board games in the traditional sense of like it has meeples and a board and whatever is going to cost you like $30. Canadian.
Minimum, yeah, 30.
So
realistically 40.
So I was realistically trying to find the cheapest board game that would give me that substance.
Sure.
That's not just a card game, whatever. So I decided for $32.95 from Pandasaurus Games to buy Brew.
Brew baby.
Brew is and why I picked Brew specifically is because it's a very mean game. And we really like mean games. That was my version of like a chunkier experience.
Yep.
And Brew is beautiful. It's got beautiful components and was at a decent price point. But again, that still chews up like almost... it is basically a third of the entire budget for that one game. From there, I was like, okay, well, I did it in terms of like, I want some variety in terms of types of games.
Right.
So Brew is like my traditional like board game experience with a little bit more thinkiness to it. The next three are kind of like party-ish games, but not really. I did end up grabbing Flip 7.
Okay.
And that probably came in a bit higher than I
What's the price
needed
on
it
that
to.
one?
$20.95. Yeah.
I mean, it's the greatest card game on earth.
It is great.
That's what it says right on the box.
I did balk at the price tag a little. Not that I don't think the game is valuable.
No, but when you're building
a $100 list, like that's expensive for a card game. But that has so many applications that I had to include it. Like I could play that with our families. I could bring it to a con. Like we could play it with friends. It's always going to be a good time, regardless of who you play that game with.
Sure.
In my opinion.
So you got 2 games, and
so
you're
I got
already
2
at
games, and I'm over half of my budget.
Games and one of them is this big.
Games are pricey, man. In Canada, for sure.
Yeah, facts. And I also want to state, though, like, Board Game Bliss has great prices in comparison to most other stores. So, like, these are considered, like, these are good prices. Yes. But it's like...
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to get these prices at a normal brick and mortar.
No, it do be luxury hobby.
Yeah. It do be luxury, yeah. Next up is another small box card game that I think I've played so much of that I always look at things in terms of ROI, which I shouldn't. For sure. But... Sea Salt and Paper is another one that I was like, I have to include this.
Yeah, I almost put it on my list.
It came in at $15.95, which is a much better deal, in my opinion, than Flip 7, but is a different game. Mm-hmm. And we've played Sea Salt and Paper at 2, 3, and 4. It plays great at all. This doesn't include the expansion.
But you could build on your collection later.
You could build on your collection later. But Sea Salt and Paper is a really, really enjoyable like set collection race to points game that there's just, for the price tag, you get so much return on that game. It's so good. And you can play it so many times. Every game's going to feel different, and it's $15.
I almost put it on my list, but it got cut.
I only have 2 more.
Yeah.
Which is wild. So I only got 5 games for $100, which is crazy. This one was just like at that lower price point that we've played and have had a ton of fun with. I wanted something with like dice.
Sure.
Brew has dice, but you're not like rolling dice to the same degree. It has dice, and you're gonna like place them.
I want to play Brew now that you're talking about it.
Yeah, I know, me too. But I wanted something with dice because I think it's like dice have a great feel. They're really fun to roll. People get it.
Yeah, you can make your own other games with dice.
Yeah, and so I grabbed Sausage Sizzle, probably on your list too. I saw the little all of these games are around $10. There's like zombie dice and all of these other things. So I'm sure Jamie grabbed something in that realm. This one came in at $11.95. Sausage Sizzle is a push your luck sausage themed game. It's chaotic fun, but I wanted something that's just silly and has some dice, and you can just chuck dice and have some fun. Last one up for me, I needed to have a trick taker, and I knew that you could most of the trick takers I enjoy are hard to get, unfortunately. But I wanted something that I knew I could enjoy with you particularly, because in this world it's probably going to be the 2 of us. Sure. So I grabbed Claim. Claim came in at $13.95, which I think is a phenomenal deal. And again, it's the base traditional version of Claim. But I just could not get through this list without having some form of trick taker.
Yeah, fair.
And a lot of them are pretty pricey. Like, so I think Skull King was there as well, and it was close to $20.
Yeah.
And I was having a little bit of a hard time justifying that one when I was like, well, I can get Claim for almost half of that.
Yeah.
But that's it. I mean, those 5 games come in at $95.76, and I wasn't going to bother trying to. I mean, it's realistically, what is that? $4
You're not getting
$4.24.
Yeah, I went through the site and I was like, "What comes in under 5?" And it's nothing.
So that's my list. So we have Brew, Flip 7, Sea Salt and Paper, Sausage Sizzle, and Claim.
Yeah,
which is
fun
again
little lineup.
Yeah, I did not. If you had asked me before I did this, like what I thought my list was going to be, it wouldn't have been that.
No,
I honestly don't think I've realized how much. I know how much board game costs, but sometimes we don't buy a ton anymore. No. And when we do, we buy a bulk of games that I think I lose concept of the individual
at a
prices.
Convention, as an example.
Yeah, we're like, oh, we just dropped $300 on board games, and like we don't quantify it the same way when you only have like a limited budget on how much you have to make that stretch out.
It would actually be a really interesting challenge to like go to a convention with $100.
$100 bill.
And see how far you can get to the pandering.
Do the bartering like Dwight does.
Yeah, be like, okay, well, what can I get for this remote?
I'm going to take this paper clip and walk out of here with the best item.
Like, that would be
he walks out with Jim's magical beans or whatever.
Okay, so that is Chef's list. How did you do it? Did you like mark down a bunch and then start cutting some?
No, I legitimately, like, I was doing the math in my head as I went. Oh. So I actually, I started with the first 2 or 3 smaller games. Mm-hmm. And then I got to the point where I was like, so basically what I did, I got 3 of the smaller card games. I was like, okay, what's that put me at? And I was like, well, I need a bigger box game with a little bit of chunk to it. So I went into like the $30 range and grabbed Brew. And I was like, okay, what do I have left? Yeah. And then after that, I was like, okay, what can I get for that? And then I looked in that price tag and grabbed another one. I
had a bit of a different method, so we'll go into mine now. I went on Board Game Bliss and I just put lowest to highest.
I did that as well.
And so I just started going through, and anytime that I saw a game that like, yeah, I would consider putting this on, I write it down and put the whatever, so I can kind of tell you what got cut from my list as well. Anyways, let's start.
The problem with doing that, though, I'm curious. When you did lowest to high, I was like, oh my God. It was like 5 pages of expansions. Yeah. It was like so much hostage negotiator.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God, hostage negotiator.
Yeah. So, okay, I am going to go, I'll go low to high. You went high to low.
Sure.
I'll go low to high. So the first game that is going to be in my $100 collection is a party game. Mm-hmm. And it is a smaller version of a game that we love. We do own this game. And that is Tapple 10.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Tapple 10 is a version of Tapple that doesn't come with the toy factor.
What does that come in at?
$9.95. So I think actually that's a really good steal, because Tapple is a super fun party game. And I believe Tapple 10 you could play solo even, which I think is great. So that was my first one. My second one is going to be Sausage
I
Sizzle.
figured that was going to... I knew it was that one or the the Walking Dead one.
Yeah, so Sausage Sizzle is $11.95.
That's a great deal.
It's a great deal. Like, if you don't already own that game, like, that is a game that I'd be like, yeah, it's super fun. It's like a push your luck game. It's cute. Anybody can play it. Yep. You could play it. It plays just as fun at 2 players as it does at more players. And so it's really versatile and an excellent price. Then I wanted to get another game that is kind of like a card game, because it is a card game, and it's a bit of a unique game.
I want to get a game that's kind of like a card game, but it is a card game.
It is a card game, and it's a classic, and that's Hanabi.
I almost included Hanabi.
So Hanabi is $11.95.
You see, you're pandering now.
Why?
You're pandering to because people love Hanabi.
Sure, it's so unique. Now you have a unique game in your collection.
Yeah, you're pandering to the
right now,
get votes.
Jeff, I'm going for a versatile collection.
Jamie's not going for the best. She's going for like the votes. She's not going for speaking to her heart.
Wait till you see what else I got.
Yeah.
Okay. But Hanabi is a great game. Basically, you play your cards opposite, and you're trying to like put out cards in the right order, in kind of like the Mind-esque, but I find this one better. Yeah. Honestly, this one is just fun.
It's not even terrible.
Then we're going to start bumping up in price. I have 3 more games on my list. So I have a total of 6.
Okay.
The next one I came across, and I was like, oh, this is like almost a miniature board game, and it's a game that we freaking love, and that is Bottom of the Ninth.
So I saw the expansion to that and almost included it. Yeah. And I didn't, because I felt like Sausage Sizzle took that realm of rolling dice.
Nah.
But I'm just pissed because I didn't pick it, realistically.
So Bottom of the Ninth comes in at $17.95.
Such a great deal.
And it is a solo and 2-player game where one player plays as the home team, one is the away, one is the pitcher, one is the hitter, and there's cards that you're going to be playing out and dice that you're going to be rolling and doing all these things to try and score runs or to knock people out.
That's a great pick.
It is and it has a real-time element, like when you're doing like home runs and stuff. It is just such a fun game.
I'm just pissed that I didn't pick it. I should have.
And it is genuinely a game that we both really enjoy.
Yeah, I could have picked that instead of Seesaw and Paper and been fine. Yeah. Dumb.
Next up on my list, now this is a solo-only game, but I do believe you could play it co-op.
Oh, you lost me now.
This is Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs. You want that big campaign experience in a tiny little box, and it only takes 20 minutes to play. Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs comes in at $21.95 for people who want the Gloomhaven experience but don't want the massive table presence.
You were up here with Bottom of the Ninth. Listen, I've not played Buttons and Bugs, but I'm just saying $20 for that little pack.
But you're getting a Gloomhaven experience.
You get Battle Crest or something from Button Shy.
Nah. Last but not least.
Yeah, what's your chunky boy?
Last but not least, we have what I deem to be a classic. We own. Now this is buildable. Let's just keep that in mind. This is a buildable experience. Unmatched Houdini versus Genie. And it's coming in at $25.95, and you have an unmatched set. And then you play this, and you're like, ooh, this is fun. And then later, when you get another $100, then you could go and get more unmatched to add to your collection.
You cater to a very heavy two-player experience.
Or 2 players. Tapple 10, Sausage Sizzle, Hanabi, all
your
play
chunky game you
player.
picked unmatched?
Yeah.
That's wild to me.
Find another friend with unmatched, and then you could play with more than 2 players.
No, that's a loophole.
No, it's just science. But that is my collection, and the math on that, I did have, but now I do not, $9.95.
People should drop your vote at Unmatched. Unmatched is incredible. I just think in this environment as a bad pick.
But this is like, I like this collection. I would be happy with my little collection here.
That's all that matters.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what the voters think. But they should vote for me.
Listen to this. $99.70. I got 6 games. This guy didn't even spend the last of his $5. He's pocketing it away from you.
Smart.
Keep that in mind. And he only got 5 games.
That's smart. That's like the lemonade stand.
$20 on Flip 7. You could have had Bottom of the Ninth for $17.95.
I know.
And I was going to tell everybody the games that I was considering but dropped off. For one of my $20 games, I was considering Cartographers. It's $23.95. Full Throttle, I had a really hard time cutting, but I ended up cutting it. It was $18.80. I also had For Sale.
Full Throttle's only $18.
Yeah, $18.81. For Sale Travel Edition I had was $16.95. I did have Sea Salt and Paper, but I cut it.
I almost did Welcome To.
I had any kind of Button Shy game, but I picked Ugly Griffin Inn for $15.95, and then I did for a while have Disney Villains, the card game.
I had that for a bit too. That's a great little game.
Yeah. Oh, I already had $99.70 written down. Friggin' idiot! It's right there, dummy. Anyways, those are our $100 collections. It is.
We should do a $10,000 collection. I'm just kidding.
Whoa, that would be insane. What do you want?
You would just all you would do is take your top 50 games and be like, okay, how many of these can I buy?
Tell me when.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm going to start again. Anyways, those are our $100 collections. I would love to know in the comments below, who do you think made the better collection? Who helped you make your money go further?
You screwed up with Unmatched. I screwed up with Flip 7. But I'm also wondering if Flip 7 was $20 because it was the promotional one, which is harder to find.
This should be cheaper, though, because it's smaller. Doesn't matter. You let us know who had the better collection.
I'm pissed about Bottom of the Ninth.
And let us know why it was me.
See, if I had picked Bottom of the Ninth instead of Flip 7.
Yeah.
I don't regret picking Flip 7.
Sure.
I want to be clear. But I feel like I would have annihilated you. I think I made it close.
That is everything that we have for you all today. I do want to give a shout out to our April sponsors, Only Then Studios. They have a new game coming out next month called Darkleaf Gambit. We are going to have some coverage coming on it soon, and I'm going to have all of the information listed in the description below, including you can try it out yourself on Tabletop Simulator if you are so interested. You can follow the campaign, do all of that fun stuff. You may recognize the name because they had a game called Wicked Cribbage, which could go on this list, but they didn't have it on Board Game Bliss.
That's but you need a crib board.
Everybody has one.
Oh.
Everybody has one. You get them at the dollar store.
Do you know what's interesting?
What?
So when we were in Washington, Americans don't ever call it crib. I shouldn't say Americans, but I'm generalizing. But every American we've been around, when we say crib, they're like, what are you talking about?
Oh, they just call it cribbage.
Cribbage. Because Rodney and I were talking about crib.
Yeah.
And Sam and Charlie had no idea what we were talking about.
Really?
And we were like, cribbage. And we're like, oh, yeah. And then Rodney and I were like, people don't call it crib.
That's weird.
And they've never heard it called crib. And Rodney and I both agreed, no.
Nobody calls it cribbage.
Yeah, if I went home and was like, hey, Dad, you want to play cribbage? You'd be like, you mean crib?
Yeah, crib. If you're interested in buying board games with your crisp $100, your Canadian $100, which by the way is plastic and basically indestructible.
Can't even go through the wash.
Can go through the wash and everything. It's crazy. You should first start by checking your friendly local gaming store, and for us, that is...
The Boardroom Game Cafe.
Oh, heck yeah, it is. And if you like what you see...
Please subscribe.
We hope to see you again soon, and now we say goodbye. Goodbye.
Later days.
Okay, ready?
No.
Right on.
Forgot my list.
Hop along, bunny money.
I love that you changed, thinking that was a strategic thing to do.
No. Do you want to know why I did? Because I'm cold and I would rather be wearing my sweater. It was making my hair janky in a way that it was driving me nuts. Because my hair was like doing this.
Got it.
And I didn't like it.
I just want one for the coffee, to get the coffee taste out of my mouth.
I want one.
Ew.
Yeah,
Did Ben bring these?
Yeah, it's fruit leather.
Ben brought these?
Well, you got them at the grocery store.
This is such a Ben thing. Oh.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good. I can understand the
Well, here's the
fruit leathery.
Here's a fun fact. Jeff went to Tim's. We got some coffees from Timmy's. Proudly Canadian. And they didn't have any freaking Timbits.
Yep. It was so much better when I was a kid. When it was just coffee and donuts.
I agree 100%. Mm-hmm.
The
you could
downhill
only pay with cash.
Yeah, they didn't have debit forever. The downhill trajectory of Tim Hortons was fast.
Directly correlated to Burger King buying them.
Yeah.
Correct.
Do you think this is still good?
Ew, no, Jeff, that's old. Yuck.
Still got caffeine in it.
Cribbage.
Cribbage.
Okay, I spelled it right. Anyways. Okay, so those are our collection.
A cribbage board? These things are so expensive. That would blow your budget right there.
Anyways,